Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another knife video for you. Today we have one I think you guys are going to find kind of amusing. On this channel, I do my best to bring you either unique stuff or brand new stuff that you haven't seen before, or maybe I just think you would find interesting. And a lot of times you wind up buying it. And I get comments with things like, "Oh, great, nice review. You just cost me $130, or whatever the knife costs, or, "Oh, great, nice review. Now my wife's mad at me," like things like that. For all of those, I always reply, I apologize for nothing. And I don't apologize for it at all, especially because, as the old saying goes, karma's a bitch. That's a two-way street, this thing. You guys have definitely enticed me to buy a lot of knives that I definitely would not have bought previously, whether it's in the comments just out of the blue suggesting, hey, you should get this, or on Instagram or whatever. And it's just, guys, people just suggesting, hey, you should get this, or maybe you should get this to compare this to this. And I wind up getting that knife I think just for the purpose of a comparison. And I wind up loving it and keeping it forever. So I'm going to bring out 5 knives here that you guys have convinced me to buy that I definitely would not have bought otherwise. There's no ranking or order or anything. I'm just gonna bring out 5 here that you guys definitely convinced me to get. First up, the knife that kind of inspired this video, because I finally got my hands on one of these. You guys didn't only inspire me to get a Buck Marksman, but you set me off on a 1-year quest to get my hands on the Buck Marksman Gray Ghost, the SK Blades special edition with G10 handles and S35 VN steel. I love this thing. The Marksman was not on my radar at all. Mostly, honestly, because it's a buck, and I just wasn't into bucks. I'm still not super into bucks. But this one, you guys kept bugging me about getting one. Somebody offered to loan me one, just a random email. I said, okay, fine. And he said, oh, and by the way, it's for sale. So I bought it. That was the original aluminum version. And then I saw this on SK Blades, and they are made in very limited numbers, and they're made by Buck. It's not like a modification by SK Blades. They're made by Buck, but this has the gray G10 scales and the really cool S35 VN blade. And I love the action on the Marksman, and this one is just has the G10 and the S35 VN, just makes it even better. Just such a great knife, and definitely one I would have never gotten if you guys hadn't talked me into it. In pictures and reading, there was nothing that really blew my skirt up about the Marksman. Anyway, had a cool action, but whatever. I got lots of knives that have cool actions, but once I got it, I just love the lock, this cool strap lock. It's great, and you set me off on a quest, and I finally got the one that I wanted. They're not horribly expensive, $115 for the regular version. This Gray Ghost is $125, but as I said, it's they're a bit difficult to get your hands on. I know there is a run coming up any minute now, so check that out, SK Blades, if you want to go look at one. Next up, this is another one. I like cold steels. I used to not like cold steels, but I really got into them. And you guys always said, you got to get a code 4, got to get a code 4, got to get a code 4. And I just thought, why? I've got other cold steels that seem cooler. This isn't a particularly high-end one. They're like $85. But when they switched to S35 VN, I thought, well, I want to get a cold steel in S35 VN. And I thought, everybody's bugging about the code 4. I guess I'll get the code 4 in S35 VN. And man, do I love the code 4. You guys were completely right. It's so slim, so lightweight. As I said, only $85, S35 VN. The action on it is really good. It's just, it may be the best thing they make. It really is that good. It's just a great EDC. I think it's definitely the best EDC knife they make. Anywho, and just a really super cool knife, and you guys were 100% right. I love this thing. This is the Spear Point. They make a Tonto. It's just such a cool knife. And if you can find with the old XHP ones, those are kind of starting to go up in value a little bit now that they switched to S35 VN. But it's super cool knife. All these knives, I want to say thank you, but this one especially, thanks. I never would have gotten one of these. Never would have wound up with one of these if it wasn't for you guys putting that in my head. Another one, this is a fairly recent purchase, and honestly, one of my favorite knives in my collection that I probably wouldn't have gotten if it was for you guys. The Zero Tolerance 0562 tie. How did you guys convince me to get this one? Well, I had the 3-inch of the Hinderer XM18. This is a Hinderer design. It is basically ZT's version of the Hinderer XM18 3.5-inch slicer grind. I sold the 3-inch XM18 because I don't know, just the size of it and stuff. I should have got 3.5 in the first place. And I mentioned in a video, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to sell this and get an XM18 3.5, and everybody said, why don't, ZT just came out with this 0562 tie. Why don't you try that first? It's a lot less expensive. And found one through my distributor, and I'm like, I was like, all right, I'll try it. Not expecting to really like it. I was expecting to like it, but I was expecting to handle it for a bit and decide, okay, the size is good. I'm going to get a normal XM18. Nope, this has cured my Hinder XM18 Jones, and I'm sticking with it. I love this thing. It is a fantastic knife in every quantifiable way. The previous versions with the carbon fiber scale and the G10 just didn't really entice me too much, but the tie was somewhat more interesting. It's lighter than the other versions somehow because they mill it out a whole lot, but still it's weird that it's full titanium and it's lighter than the carbon fiber version, but it's just a fantastic knife. The action on it is just addictive. The action on the new Tri-Way Pivot XM18s is probably as good, but they don't make this sound. Some people say that ZT makes a better Hinderer than Hinderer does. I do not agree with that, but this one is fantastic. It's just really good. Would I like an XM18 3.5 inch better? I might. I probably would, but this is so good that it's just kind of cured my Hinderer Jones. This is one that maybe actually you guys saved me some money making me buy this. Next up we will do the this is one. We'll bring up this one next, I guess. I said this wasn't going to be in any particular order. Benchmade Anthem. I always thought it looked cool. I'm a big 940 fan. I've had several 940s over the years, and I really like them a lot. This is somewhat 940-esque. It's an integral titanium handle design, but it's $430. So I was always just like, what? No, I'm not paying that for a Benchmade, and I just blew it off. But every time I bring up a 940 and say how much I love a 940, or a lot of other Benchmades too, but it's like, you got to get an Anthem, you got to try an Anthem, you got to get an Anthem. I'm like, no, I just don't. They're too expensive. Then I went to Blade HQ. The guy next to me was handling a bunch of knives. He had one of these out. I'd already checked out, and I picked it up, flipped it a few times, and I was like, ooh, man, maybe people are on to something here. Maybe I do need to get one of these. This is pretty freaking great. And then I remember being on the flight home just thinking, oh, God, I should have gotten an Anthem. I should have gotten an Anthem. And my buddy, Zach Stuff, great channel, by the way, go check him out, mentioned it to him. It's no real secret that he's got a little bit of an in with Benchmade. Helped me get a wicked good deal on one. And, 3 weeks after I got back from Blade HQ, I have one. And it is awesome. I did change the pocket clip. Stock pocket clip looks a bit penile, and I didn't really want anything to do with that. And it's a bit clattery. So I got this nice deep carry one that matches from MXG Gear and matches all the other stuff on here. They have one that matches the bronze too, but I liked it to match the blade and the hardware, so that's what I went with. But God, what a cool knife. And it's been something I've been carrying the hell out of. It's just great. It's slim. It's fairly light. It's not as light as a 940 by any means, but it's fairly light. Nice and slim in the pocket. Classy. Blade's good. 20 CV. It's just, it is a great knife. Yes, I did not pay the $430 for it, but even if I had, it's probably worth it. I mean, I paid that for Sebenza, and I regret this purchase less than I regretted the Sebenza. And the Spenzas are great. They're very well made. They're probably worth the money, but it just wasn't my thing. Where this is my thing and cost that amount of money. So this is the one that cost, even though I got a good deal, but it was still very, very expensive. It's still one of the most expensive knives that I've bought. But so thank you for that. I'm very glad to have it, but it was a big dent in my knife budget for the last couple months. If I've had a few less brand new knife reviews for the last couple months, it's partly because of that. Lastly, this is one that definitely I would not have got. I'm a big Spyderco fan. I've had a lot of Spydercos, but this is one that was not at all on my radar, and you guys just peppered me with requests to see it in videos, to see it in comparison videos, just to see a standalone video. I'm like, it's been out for a couple years. Why would I do that? I'm not going to spend the money to buy something that's... Because let's face it, you want the clicks, and reviewing something that's 2-3 years old doesn't usually get that many clicks. But then, finally, somebody loaned me one the Spyderco Sage 5. And all I will say is, this guy loaned me one. By the time I sent it back, I already had this. I had them both side by side. So he sent it to me as a loaner. I carried it for a day, and I went online and I ordered one. The Sage 5 is just fantastic, and I sent his back like the day after mine arrived. Oh my God, this is such a good knife. I still maintain one of the best things that Spyderco makes. Probably this right now, currently, as of we're sitting here right now on May the 9th of 2019, this and maybe the Kapara, I think, are the two best things they make. It's just a super slicey XHP, or I'm sorry, S30V blade. I always think it's XHP for some reason, probably because it's made in Taichung. And a lot of the older Taichungs were all XHP. But S30V blade, super slicey. Ergonomics are just fantastic. I would take this over a Para 3 any day. I just love the Sage 5. It is a great freaking knife. And I would have never even handled one. Well, I probably would have handled one at some point, but I never would have bought one if it wasn't for you guys. I got a loaner in because of you guys, and I immediately had to go buy one. This was probably my quickest from, I don't care about that, to purchase of any of them. So we'll bring them all out here again, but I think this is just kind of a fun video. Is it super informational? No, not much, but except for just bringing out some knives that aren't necessarily super new or anything. 5.62 is fairly new, but not that new. But I just wanted to say, for all you guys that get upset with me because I cost you money, as you put it, I don't cost you money. I bring you joy. That's what it is. But yeah, I'm just saying, it's a two-way street. It happens to me too. You guys talk about knives, and I wind up buying them. So any comments down below? Why don't you ruin my life some more? Put some more ones that you think I should get. And maybe you'll entice me into another one. But this has been fun for me anyway. I hope it is for you guys. Just saying, these are definitely 5 knives that are all your fault. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I've been Brian. Have a good one.